Hello everyone, hope you are all doing good. Till last week I have been posting videos on individual topic and or policy. Starting this week I will be giving a snippet of major economic events which has transpired in the last week. So the events can be categorized into geopolitical events, business and markets, and governmental actions. Starting next week, I'll be posting individual short videos on individual topics. Let us get started with geopolitical events first. LAC standoff has been dragging for more than 6 months in eastern Ladakh region. Our government's foreign policy on this has been a three-pronged approach, one at diplomatic level, trade level, as well as military level. Whatever endeavor they were taken up in the last 6 months have not yielded the desired results because what's been agreed has not been implemented in ground. So what it means is we need to be prepared militarily. The last few weeks, both countries have been building up troops on either side of the borders. In this week, Indian Army has added artillery tanks which can withstand temperature to the tune of minus 40 degrees Celsius. So, we need to be mindful of the fact that, we are talking about a potential warfare at an altitude of 14,500 feet from ground level, and the forces will be encountering the unfavorable weather conditions because winter is fast approaching. So, the statement from the army is they are ready. Both man as well as machine are ready to handle any eventualities. So next new feed is on the United Nations Security Council permanent membership. So as you know, there are 5 countries, Russia, UK, France, China and US are the permanent members now. India has been awarded non-permanent membership for 2021-2022 this year. But there has been a chorus mooted by current US President Donald Trump that the permanent members should be expanded so that there is a growing perception that reforms are not forthcoming and in line with the demands of the world, the permanent membership should be expanded. So answering a question in the Lok Sabha, our Minister of State for External Affairs have said that India has been given the top priority in terms of giving permanent membership. What has been offered to us in 1947 after independence, which we have eventually gifted to China, hopefully we'll realize our goal of becoming a permanent members in United Nations Security Council soon. Moving on to business and market section. AGM or annual general meeting happened for one of the South-based whole generation private sector bank, Lakshmi Vilas Bank, last Friday, wherein more than 60% of the stakeholders have voted out the current management. What it means is 7 out of the 10 directors who have come up for retention have been voted out. So what it mean to LVB? So basically they are already under the PCA framework of Reserve Bank of India. What it means is a commercial bank coming under the prompt corrective action or PCA framework of Reserve Bank of India means that the bank is not adequately capitalized. So only under circumstances they can come under the PCA framework. What it means is the banks will not be able to expand the branch network and other restrictions are there. So banks usually, after they become enhance the capital requirement, then they come out of this PCA framework. So this shocker on Friday has come up at a time when LVB wanted to enhance the capital requirement by merging with Clicks Capital, which has come up in jeopardy now because of what transpired on Friday. So moving on, the first largest Indian app store, named as OS Labs, has turned profitable after the Chinese apps were banned by the government of India. So which has come as a surprise news for us. So most welcome news rather. And there are a couple of world indexes which have been published this week. One of them is Smart City Index. Global Smart City Index, Singapore has retained the numero uno position for the second year. Top 4 Indian cities, Hyderabad, New Delhi, Mumbai and Bengaluru have dropped 15 to 18 places since 2019 ranking. So that's not a good news, but another good news. The other good news is World Bank Human Capital Index was published this week. India has been ranked 116th among the 174 countries, encompassing 98% of the population. So we have gradually moved up from 0.44 to 0.49 this year. Hopefully we'll move up in subsequent years. So, and the other addition which I will be talking about in this section is India economic recovery or revival mission. We know that in 2019 has been a bad year for Indian economy in GDP terms. So every quarter the GDP growth rate has been dropped in 2019. So the recovery started in 2020 January, and in February we grown up at 6.4%, which is very good. Unfortunately, it could not sustain because of COVID related reasons. But there are good news in this space in a couple of areas this week. One is our power consumption has gone up to pre-COVID level. In fact, we have grown 0.9% when we compare year on year to last September. So what it implies is there has been a gradual recovery in industrial and commercial sector, so which is a very, very good sign. Hopefully this trend will continue. And the other good thing is the petrol consumption has gone up to pre-COVID level. So when you see year on year, when you compare the petrol consumption, we have grown up by 2.2% when compared to last September, which is significant growth in my view. And when you compare to last month, the petrol consumption has grown up by 7%. We have not reached a pre-COVID level growth rate for as far as diesel consumption is concerned, because there is a drop by 6% year on year. However, when compared to August, we have the growth has been near 20%, which is a good sign. Okay, let us move on to the last section, which is governmental actions. Last video I spoke about extensively on farm bills. There have been subsequent political reaction in aftermath because when this bill was approved in Rajya Sabha last month Sunday, the lone Shiromani Akali Dal cabinet minister resigned, and today Akali Dal has moved out of NDA coalition, which is a bad news for them. And not only that, there have been a forward agitation in the last week, especially from the state of Punjab, who resorted to blocking of rails or rail roco agitation. So what government needs to do is basically they need to communicate the message clearly and basically alleviate the concerns of the farmer, because this bill was a noted columnist, Mr. Swaminathan Ankleshwar Iyer, who welcomed this bill and said that it is going to benefit the farmer because they are going to gain more income, and also the marketplace is widened. In fact, in this weekly radio talk, Man Ki Baat, Prime Minister has basically given examples how the farmers across India, Indian states have benefited when the produce, like especially the vegetables, rather fruits, and have been moved out of the ABLG regime. So only thing what they need to do is they need to basically create awareness so that the desired success rate is achieved through Farm Bill. And one of the important factors which I mentioned in my video is the focus area for the government is creating a market infrastructure. I think they have taken a right step in this direction. Kisan train was introduced last month, wherein they were able to transport farm produce to the tune of 4,100 tons from one place to another place, covering 85% of the capacity utilization. So currently there are such Kisan trains plying in 3 routes. So they have come up with another innovative idea which is going to be implemented soon, is to especially take care of seasonal produce of fruits and vegetables. One such in the anvil is basically orange special train which will be plying between Nagpur and Delhi, and another one is Kinu train from Punjab to West Bengal and Orissa. So these will be playing only in those regions. Like orange train will be playing in the summer season of April, May, June, and this Kinu is for December and January. And there are 4 more like mango train, onion train, chiku train, and so on and so forth. They are on the pipeline. I think this is a wonderful initiative which the government has taken, especially the Ministry of Railways, because as I said, when the commuter traffic also gets regularized in say 2021, and they have already enhanced their freight income multi-floor, so which augurs well for the railways and as well as the country's corpus as well. So moving on, there is another important policy update which I wanted to provide to you. Basically, government has brought in this Garib Kalyan Rojgar Abhiyan on 20th June 2020, basically to take care of or make the employability of the migrant workforce. As per the plan, a capital outlay of 50,000 crores to be spent in a time frame of 25 days were mooted. So this covers only migrants from 6 states. So railways have published data on this. As of 25th September 2020, basically they have completed 164 railway projects, and 12,726 such migrant laborers are employed. And basically what it means is 2,200 crore rupees of the corpus have been already provided to the contractors, and basically as part of this project they have reached a mandate of 10 lakh plus. So which is a very significant step. I think there are other such infrastructure projects like optical fiber cable network, laying of optical fiber cable and other things which government will be able to achieve their intended objective because we got another 1 month for this endeavor to complete. So I will conclude this week's video with another update, basically which concerning foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment under automatic route have been enhanced from the current 49% to 74% in different sector. So as you know, in FDI there are 2 routes. One is automatic route, which does not require any governmental or RBI approval. Other one is approval route. So government has specified that any new industrial license in defense sector up to 74% can be under automatic route, and rest 26% have to be under approval route. So this is for existing licenses. Any enhancement from the current level has to be under approval route. So there is a caveat here. One is all these approvals are subject to government scrutiny when it concerns to national security. So that's something which is very important because we are dealing with different projects. So that's it for this week. I hope this video is quite useful to you because I'm trying to basically give in a capsule whatever the major economic events have transpired. So in the next weeks, as I said, there will be separate short videos covering different categories like geopolitical events, markets, as well as governmental actions. Before I sign off, I just want to request you to like, subscribe, and share my videos so that it will benefit others also. Till we meet next week, take care. Bye bye.